Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gina and I'm an integrative nutrition health coach that specializes in perfectionism and self-love. I also make videos over here about mom life and pregnancy. This video is a very overdue video. My son is almost 2, he's about 21 months, and I never filmed my 9 to 12 month top baby products that I enjoyed. So this video is long overdue, like I said, but I wanted to make sure that I am buttoning up all of my product videos throughout his childhood because I do believe in these products. I think they were fantastic for that age range and I wanted to share them with all of you. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I am new to YouTube, so I'm trying to bring up all of my content and really build up my channel. So it really helps me if you subscribe, even like this video, to see if this is also content that I can create in the future. Much like my other product videos, I have it broken up into different categories. I kept the categories the same for this video as well, in the same exact order, so you can make sure to hit the timetables down below to skim through whatever products you're kind of looking for which category. And just one more side note, we are currently in Scotland, and when he was 9 to 12 months, we were living in Virginia, where our apartment was, which I had access to a lot of his products and all of the things that we were using. Right now, I did have a few things from that period of time with me, so I went ahead and brought those out to show you, but everything else, like his high chair and the car seat that we used, are gonna be back in the States. Some of these products were in the last product video that I made, which was the 6 to 9 month top products. So I am going to be repeating them, but not going into great detail. So if I mention that it's in that video, you can definitely refer back to it and I'll link it down below as well as in the cards. All right, the first category is sleeping. Around 9 months, he started sleeping through the night consistently. And I hate when people ask you, oh, is he sleeping through the night yet? And he's only like 4 months old. I'm like, okay, hate to break it to you, but it's not normal for them to sleep through the night until around this time anyway. So he did start sleeping through the night. He was in his own room from about 5 months, and these are some of the products that helped us get through that period when he was going through that 8-month, 9-month regression, which really wasn't that bad. So we didn't have a swaddle for him. We had what's called a sleep sack. So it's basically no sleeves. You can get one with sleeves, but we had the Halo brand with no sleeves, and it was basically like a tank top, and you zipped them all different kinds of ways. Easy to open if you needed a late night change, and they were just so cozy. Look for the TOG, which is the TOG number based on the season. We got one that was kind of a little bit lighter, maybe like a 1.5 or like a 0.5 TOG, just because we were getting into the summertime. So make sure to look at that number before buying one that you're going to use for your baby based on which season that you're in. But they were so incredibly cozy. I mentioned in my last video, and we just used them over and over and over again. We also used the Owlette camera. So we didn't have the attachment that goes onto the ankle or the foot of the baby, but we did have just the camera. And honestly, when we were in Virginia, the Wi-Fi was really dodgy. I don't know what happened, but sometimes it would cut out a lot and that was super frustrating. So make sure you have a good modem, a good router that you can depend on for this camera. Since we've been in Scotland, we've had no issues. We're continuing to use it today, and he's almost 2. So we've gotten a huge amount of value out of this camera. And it's great because we don't have an audio monitor anymore. Around that time, we still did. We were kind of all the way across the apartment, so we could hear everything as well as see him on the camera. But this camera was great. We absolutely love it. I love that you can hook it up to your phone, view them while they're sleeping. My son is actually sleeping right now, and I can just check on it and make sure he's okay. Very clear, I would say. So we love it. We've used it for a very long time and still using it today. So I would highly recommend this camera. The other like device type thing for sleeping would be our hatch. We didn't get the mini one, we got the full one that has all these ranges of colors and sounds. You can adjust the noise level as well as the lighting temperature or brightness of the colors. It's just awesome. We love it. And I was able to set it up, which was our favorite settings, and you can kind of just tap the top and it'll turn to another setting. So it was nice. I was able to kind of click through which ones, and you touch it and hold it to turn it off. It's just like super seamless, very convenient, very helpful for me. I'm also able to go on my phone and adjust all the settings right now on this app. And then choose through all of the like little programs that I have. I can set timers on it, which we'll use in the future, like when he is wondering what time it is and what time he's able to come in the living room or wherever we are. We're able to adjust the settings where you can like turn on a different light, which will give him a go to be able to come out of the room. So there's all these different things that you can do with it. Anyway, we've gotten a lot of use out of it, and we brought it to Scotland with us, and he's using it right now. So it's fantastic. And the final thing I'll say about sleep for this 9 to 12 month period is around the 4 month, maybe 3 month, 4 month period, I was trying to look for different methods of sleep training, and we ended up going with the Happy Sleeper book, which I mentioned in a past video. It has been a lifesaver. A few of my mom friends have read it as well, and they love it, and they've gotten so much value out of it. So I will link it down below. It is one of my favorite books right now because sleep is incredibly important, probably the most important when it comes to your baby, for you, for your mental health, as well as theirs, keeping them nice and rested and healthy. So getting the sleep that they need, that you need, is key, vital. So this book was incredibly helpful for that. It goes through methods that you can use up to 5 months, and then after 5 months and beyond, if they're still taking naps or sleeping, having trouble sleeping through the night. I think around toddler age. So it has a huge value in that it goes for a long period of time that you can use some of these methods. Great book, great book. Can't recommend it enough. All right, next category is eating. So we started baby-led weaning around 6 months. So he was pretty good at eating around this time. More towards the 12-month mark, we were starting to feed him 3 meals a day, 2 snacks. So really getting on that schedule. We started giving him water around 7 months, and he would only take like a few sips, so he wouldn't really go overboard. Around the 9 to 12 month period, we got a water bottle. This is the water bottle that we got. It's by the company Reduce. We actually have the bigger versions of them, but this one is the smaller kid version. It is the stainless steel one, not the plastic one, and it just, you click this little button, and out pops a silicone straw, and then you can close it, and this is a lock button. So he actually now is able to control this himself without the lock on. Push it down, excuse me, and push it open. So this is great for him. It can attach to anything. The only thing I would say about it is it doesn't fit in most kid-size cup holders. So we did have to get a couple of things for the car, super small, thin, random things, which did the job, but this would have been nice if it was just a slender one, but we still love it. We still use it to this day, and easy for him to use. Again, around the 9 to 12 months, he was getting really, really good at eating because he had gone 4 to 6 months of eating consistently with us and trying new things all the time. So one of the plate sets that we got, it was called Avanci. We had a few, and I hated them because they would not stick to the Stoke baby high chair as well as our table. So nothing would stick for our table that had that suction except for this brand. So the Avanci, it's like a bamboo plate. They had a bowl and also a couple of spoon sets. We loved it because it just stuck to our table. We needed something to stick so that he wouldn't be spilling everything. So we love them. They're still at home in the States, so we didn't bring them with us just because they are a little bit on the chunky side, and we knew that we could get something really cheap here. But we absolutely adore them. They were fantastic. The plate is obviously sectioned, and the bowl's nice and deep, and you can take the suctions off, which is great because when we get home, he won't need a lot of those suctions anymore. He's not really picking his things up and throwing them. So we can take those things off and use them as regular plates and bowls. The other thing we got for mealtime were some real utensil sets. This is just the spoon. I have the fork. We just used it for lunch, so it's still dirty, but it comes in a set of just spoons and forks. You can also get one with a little mini knife in it. These are awesome. You can buy them on Amazon in a set. We'll probably get another set when we get home. but they're just great. They're mini size, they fit into their hand. Once they feel really comfortable with eating, this is a great upgrade from the silicone ones, the ones that are just really chunky and bulky. In our last video we had like the smaller ones, but this is nice and slender, easy for them to eat, and it's nice for them to get used to real cutlery at this time. Again, he started to use the fork towards the end of the 9 to 12 month period, and the spoon he'd been using for a while. So we did use little tiny shot glasses for his water cup. We had it around 6 to 9 months, and also around this time, 9 to 12 months. So I didn't bring it with me because he's upgraded to a bigger cup, a bigger glass cup, but we like to use real glasses and real cutlery. So we had a pack of 6. They are on Amazon, and they worked out really, really nicely, because if they did spill or if they did break, it's a great lesson in that we need to take care of the things that we have in our environment, which is very Montessori styled. But yeah, we wanted to make sure that we had real cups. Speaking of cups, we had quite a few different cups, because kids are just so particular and unique about what they like to drink through, what their particulars are when it comes to having their drinks, or even the time period that they're in, about what skills they have. We had him drinking from a straw pretty early. So we had a little cup. It's basically like a silicone straw cup. Looks like this. And we've had it for a long time now. It's really small, it has a little top, and the straw is short and fat. So we put like little juices, little smoothies in there, we put the water in there, and that really helped him develop that sucking skill of using a straw really early. So I highly recommend that one as maybe your baby's first experience with using a straw. At the same time, so we weren't like graduating, we were using multiple cups at once just to give him a different experience. So we had the 2-handled Munchkin cup. It's like a sippy cup where you have to physically like sip from it. That was great for a long time. We even put his milk in there for a while, but usually we would use it for water before we graduated to the water bottle. So once he got really good at the straw mechanism, we were able to move up to the water bottle, but he was also drinking water through that Munchkin sippy cup. Loved it. It was a great like in-betweener for those. But honestly, if your baby does not like that, then I would opt for something with a straw. But it is a great starter for using an open cup. That way they can get used to tipping up and physically sipping. So it was a really, really great cup for that skill. A couple more things for mealtime physically. We had a splat mat underneath the high chair, which was fantastic. It has little grippies on the bottom, and you can just throw it in the wash. It has like a waterproof fabric-y top. I'll make sure to link it down below, obviously, with a very gender neutral pattern, which I made sure to get. And I loved it. Every week or so, I would throw it in the wash and air dry it, and it was good to go. So loved that thing. I was able to just scoop it up, dump it in the sink or the trash, and move on. It was a perfect splat mat for us. Again, we were using the Stoke high chair, which I've mentioned beforehand. We didn't put him in the high chair until about 4 months, 5 months, just to get him used to sitting in the high chair, and would like give him toys and stuff. And then we moved on to eating, which he felt already really comfortable because he was already sitting in there. So we were slowly moving the footrest down just to make sure that that was an accurate height for his height. So we were constantly adjusting it, constantly adjusting the waistband and also the height of the seat. So that is great about the Stoke high chair, is it's ergonomic. So it's great for not choking, helping your baby to have their feet planted on the floor to prevent choking. Such a great high chair. And I got it because it lasts and you can use it through your child's entire childhood. The last two things around mealtime that we had, sorry, my phone's over there. are bibs. So we use the mushy bib most of the time. I will say I had a few issues with some breakage and cracking back here in the button up area. So wasn't quite sure of that. So just be careful with how you wash it. It is quite delicate, but if you can find a more sturdier brand that's a little bit cheaper, I would probably go for that. Because I wasn't like 100% impressed, but we still use them just because they're adorable and they're silicone and they're just easy to use. So we still use these to this day. We have 2 of them here and we just keep reusing them. The other bib that we had was called Tiny Twinkle. So cute. And this is like more of an apron bib. So we use this not only for really, really messy meal times, but we also use it for art, for if he's doing anything messy with like sensory play. But it has a Velcro closure. It also has sleeves with some elastic, which is awesome. And it has a little pocket on the bottom to catch all the food, which you can flip up if you don't want that. Anyway, I thought these were fantastic. Comes in a pack of 2 off Amazon. And again, I got very neutral colors. When it comes to the other half of your child's feeding, which is milk or formula, you should be still feeding milk or breast milk or formula to your baby at least 9 to 12 months and beyond. When you want to switch over from formula to regular milk would be around the 1-year-old mark. So we were still having formula. I'm going to make a breastfeeding video to talk about my entire breastfeeding journey, which was very interesting. So I will make a video on that. I won't go into detail, but we were moving completely over to formula around this time. So I'd stopped breastfeeding around like 9-ish months and had been incorporating it in slowly. So we were on Earth's Best. I think it was their sensitive tummy one. It's purple, comes in a can. And then the Happy Organics one. We were going kind of back and forth between them two. The bottles that we were using were the Advent bottles, so the glass bottles. And I made sure to not up the nipples as much because that would control the flow. And if he was drinking them very quickly, he would still be hungry. He wouldn't be as full. So I made sure to not go by the recommended flow nipple. I made sure that they were still kind of low. That way he wouldn't be chugging it so fast. We made sure to always supplement with the food first and then the formula. So we were gradually weaning him off of those feedings. But those two things, the formulas that I mentioned and the bottles, were perfect. They were a great combination. I'm so glad that we used those bottles. We had a variety of sizes. At this time, we were mostly using the large ones. He was having about 7 ounces, 6 to 7 ounces at a time. So we really needed those bigger ones. And the last 2 things I'll mention around eating. I know this is quite a big category, but I am very passionate. I am an integrative health coach about food. So this was a huge topic for me that I wanted to make sure that I had the right products for to set my baby up for success. So we had 2 investments. I invested in the Health Nut Nutrition Cookbook from Health Nut Nutrition on YouTube. She is fantastic. Nicole, I have been following her for a very long time and I love what she created. So I got that just to get inspired by some meals, which led me to another company called Solid Starts. This company I cannot say enough about. I talked about them in my last video for sure, but we are still using them to this day. Sometimes I will just basically go online and follow them on Instagram or go to a lot of their blog posts. They talk about picky eating as a toddler, which we're really getting into right now. But around this time, it really gave me a good idea of when to feed him milk and when to feed him food and how many feedings he's having a day. They have blog posts on that. They have an app where you can look up how to serve a certain food at what period of time. So for example, you would look up avocado in their database and it would go through, you know, an avocado can be served like this at 6 months, it can be served like this at 9 months and this at 12 months. So I really loved just being able to be like, I have some chicken or I have some sweet potatoes. I'm wondering like if he's skilled enough to try it this way, which is what they recommend. So I'd look it up and it would go through instructions, videos, photos, and it would also show photos of and videos of babies eating the foods. So it gave me a good idea of like, oh, okay, he is supposed to be eating like this. That's great. Such a great resource. I cannot say enough about this brand. I purchased the course, so much value for that. I got PDFs, I got all these videos, even talked about choking, anything with to do with allergies, just great resource, and I'll make sure to link them down below. Fantastic company. Moving right along, I wanted to talk about changing. So we were doing reusable as well as disposables. We were going kind of back and forth between them his entire newborn and infant stage. So in the beginning we did both because our reusables actually did not fit him. They were too big. So we did a lot of disposables in the beginning. Around the month to 2 month mark, we started using more reusables. So we used the Nora's Nursery, and around that time, around 9 to 12 months, I think we were just using the Nora's Nurseries. Yeah, I feel like we were just using reusables and disposables sometimes, like very rarely, maybe just while we were out and about, just to make it more convenient for me as a solo parent, but we were mostly using reusables. Such a fantastic brand. They have a lot of resources online for how to clean them. I've talked about them before, so you can refer back to those other videos, but we loved that brand and they made it super convenient and easy to do something good for the planet, sustainable, and eco-friendly. So kudos to reusable diapers. The disposables that we were using were the Honest Company diapers. I loved the prints. I thought they were so cute. So we started using them as well as the reusable. And the last thing we have for changing is the Earth Mama diaper balm. There it is. He's almost 2 and we still use this. It is magic. Not only would I put it on his butt, but I would put it on everything. So if he had a cut or if he had some sort of weird rash, like right now he has this like weird rash dot on his leg. I literally just took a teeny bit of this and put it on there and it's already starting to heal up the dryness. Crazy. Like the stuff that's in here is just so great and the oils are so luscious and good for you. So I can't say enough about Earth Mama as a brand, but this diaper balm has saved our butts. Actually mostly his butt. But he's barely had a diaper rash, which has been fantastic. He had one bad one around like 8 months, but we have not had any into toddlerhood, and I blame this guy. It makes it super easy to wipe off the poop when you're changing them, especially nighttime. So make sure to slather this on at nighttime. It is a lifesaver. All right, next category. I'm calling this self-care. Obviously, he can't take care of himself. I'm taking care of him, but you get the picture. So I'm gonna go into teeth. So he was teething quite a bit around this time. Around 7 months, he got 4 teeth at once, and he got quite a bit of teeth before 1. So he got a lot of his teeth in a very short period of time. So around 9 to 12 months, he was just starting to get like those back teeth, those back molars, the first set. So that's why I think he was just such a good eater, because he had so many freaking teeth. The teethers that we loved, he wasn't really a big teether fan. So I bought a bunch of crap, like the things that you put the fruit in and you chew. I got a bunch of different teethers, hated everything. But the ones that he did like were the one from Love Every that comes in one of the kits. It's like a little triangle with a circle cut out. He enjoyed that most of the time, clipped onto like the carrier or clipped onto himself. So that was really great. There was one that was like a little mini hand with little fingers. He really liked that one as well. But those two, that's it. And I bought a bunch of them. There was one more that I mentioned in my last video, but around this time he was liking those two. Some of the teething meds that we used, we didn't use many. When he was really bad, we would use a natural pain reliever for him, but we also used the homeopathic brand Camellia, which you can get on Amazon. They come in like a little paper box with all these little like plastic dropper things. Just screw off the top and just pour it into their mouth. We would give him about like maybe 3 of those a day if he was really bad. So they were just a great like supplement if you didn't want to constantly be giving them a pain reliever and just didn't want to see your child in pain. So we really enjoyed using those, and we haven't used them in a long time, but we did bring some with us. The other thing for teeth that I actually didn't write on my list, but I thought of it later because he's such a good like teeth brusher now. We were using toothbrushes, but they weren't like actual bristled brushes. We were using little finger one where you just kind of clean their gums. I think it's by Frida Baby. We got one by, I feel like it was by Haka. Don't quote me on that, but I will put the one that we did use down below. We kind of tried a bunch of different ones, but we're starting to experiment because he had so many teeth with toothbrushes. So like really natural bristled ones, really small ones, and just experimenting with what worked for him. I was the one brushing his teeth. He was not able to do that yet, but I did just give it to him and he would just chew on it, which is also really great. So if you can do that, just give them anything that has like bristles or silicone bristles for them to chew on, and that'll give them one, the teething stimulation and ease some pain, as well as get their gums clear of any gross, yucky stuff. The last two things for self-care, a bath seat and some blankets. So the blankets we used were Burt's Bees. They're 100% cotton, and we just would drape them over the stroller when he would fall asleep. We used it in Disney World a lot, and it was getting into summer, so this was perfect. I would use it as like a breastfeeding cover up back in the day, and I would also just wrap him up if it was a chilly morning in the late springtime. So it was a great asset to have, and it was really light. I really enjoyed the fabric. I just love Burt's Bees. Don't you guys? The last thing was our bath seat. So we had the Moby bath whale thingamajig, and it's kind of a progression bath seat. So you can stick them in the sling, then you can move the sling down, and then you can take the sling off. So he was moving from not being in that bathtub to this new seat. So this new seat, you just kind of suction to the sides of your bathtub and sit them in it and fill up the bathtub. He loved this. He loved being able to like really like go at it with splashing. I'm so glad we got that. I think we got it just from Target. Yeah, now he doesn't have a seat anymore. But yeah, it was incredibly helpful for us. All right, we are now into the playing category. I'm going to go through this list a little bit faster than usual because there is quite a few things listed. He was so active at this time. He was standing, he was moving and grooving, not quite walking, but we had a lot of things we were experimenting with and playing with throughout even that little tiny 4-month period. First thing I'll mention is a ball set. So I got that off of Amazon. It's just multiple balls, different textures on the outside, and all like this hard plastic. So we loved that ball set. We were able to throw it. He was able to chew on it. Lots of different things. So loved having a ball set. The Baby Einstein music set. So we got the piano as well as the drum. Loved it. He thought the sounds were amazing. He thought the cards that you put in were so cool with the piano. He was just really able to experiment with cause and effect, where he hit something and it made a sound. The brand is so adorable. They look cute. Not that I was interested in that, but he loved being able to bang, bang, bang on the drums and just make his own music. So we had this little, we called her Miss Whaley. It was like a little whale, something that you just like, you know, like a little shaker. So it just made noise. It had a little colorful thing on the bottom. We would always put that on the stroller. That was like one of the things that he was pretty obsessed with. So we made sure to include that in this list. So some bigger items that we had, one of the things I mentioned in the last video was the activity center that we got. I can't remember the brand right now, but super, super, super popular. It was like one of the #1 things to buy for your kid. It's awesome. It can like transform into something they can sit in, something they can cruise around, and then something you can put a top on and use as like a regular table. It was fantastic for us. And I'm sure if I were to bring it out right now, he would probably still play with it. So looking forward to seeing that when we get home. And we used it a ton around this time just because he wasn't walking, and it was a great thing to kind of hold on to and play with all the toys. Another big thing that we got from Amazon was his wooden walker. Little cart that he just pushed along since he wasn't walking yet, but so close. This gave him a lot of confidence with holding on tight. We made sure to weigh it down with some books when he first was not great at his strength and holding on to it, which really helped him. So he just loved going around the apartment. I have so many videos of him. We even took it outside quite a bit, and everybody just died. because he was just so cute. Anyway, we loved that walker, and oh gosh. The last like big thing that we had, I'm calling it a jump, but I don't remember its name. It's the thing that you get in and you bounce, but it hooks up in the middle of a door frame. We got it from Target. We didn't get like the really expensive one just because we didn't know if he'd like it or not. He didn't like it as much, but he did enjoy it when we were kind of doing stuff around the house and he was able to like bounce and swing. It was just a great way to use his gross motor in a different way without like climbing and all the things. So this was a great addition to the other big items that we had. We did the Montessori toy rotation where not all the toys are out at once. So I really enjoyed doing that still. I was able to experiment with really creative things. I was able to make my own sensory bottles, which he loved. We would just stick some pom-poms in an old water bottle and he really enjoyed that. So get creative with your toys. You'll be surprised what your baby will play with. Two of his favorite books around this time were Woodland Dance. So cute. This author is adorable. This is like worn as crap because we would read it all the time. It was like Daddy's bedtime story. So we love this one here. The other one that we loved around this time was the Diggersaurus. They have a sequel to this called Diggersaurus Explorer, which we also have at home. But it was awesome. And every time we read this now, even though he's like a year older than what I'm talking about, you can still like really look at the photos and say like, oh look, this one is green and it has the number 1. You know, you can find different things that they're working on. Even throughout this age period that he's in, almost 2, I'm able to point out different things. But at this time he was really enjoying like, oh wow, like, oh the crunch and the words and the visuals. So really nice book, and the sequel is just as adorable. The last toy I will mention is Lovevery. Ah, God, I just love that brand. They create some incredible, beautiful toys that just last and just make so much sense. I have said so many things about Lovevery in my 0 to 3, my 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and now 9 to 12. Just so great. Like, I cannot say enough about this brand. We also got the book subscription that kind of hops on to the toy subscription too. And I just love that everything is so intentional. Like, one of the things that I feel like we brought over was this little like pocketed animal thing, and he still loves this. He still looks at the photos and puts them in the right place now. It's just such a great brand. I can't say enough about them. The toys are just fantastic and will last. Like, if we have another child, they'll just be passed down, and that's the beauty of it. One of the things that we bought extra from Lovevery was their little mini stacker. It's like just 3 colors. It wobbles. Gave them some good practice with a stacker if they can't quite do the larger one. This was a great one, but we got it from Target. Target does buy the single toys from Lovevery, which I highly recommend if you're not ready to commit to the full subscription. They have some really cute toys that you can get as a gift or get for your baby's age range. It says the age range on the front. So I would definitely look into them. They are well worth the money, and I would recommend them to every parent that I know. And finally, the last thing with toys and activities is all of the many extracurriculars that my son was in. We were enjoying a lot of different places and classes. We were continuing to go to our kinder music class, which apparently is worldwide. So if you are interested in giving your child that experience as well, make sure to look up kinder music. Such a great curriculum. Everything's very intentional but very fun, and they go off of sign language, proper development, and have many different activities for kids to do up until an older age where they can even learn instruments. Just such a great company. So I would look into them. We were also experimenting with a lot of like indoor play. It was getting really hot outside, so we'd also go outside on the playground, but we'd go inside to where there were, you know, some climbing frames. And we also paid a lot of visits to the library. We made sure to go to a really large library that was full of kids most of the time, and we just had a ball picking out all the books, and we would go there at least once a week. The next category is clothes. I am not one of those moms who obsesses about their kids' clothes. However, I kind of treated his clothes as if they were kind of my wardrobe. So I would always try to choose very intentional, comfortable clothing that also went with everything in my closet. So kind of like a capsule wardrobe. So I did that for my son, and it made getting dressed for him so much easier. I really focused on comfortable, simple clothes, so pull-on pants, no pockets or drawstrings or anything extra like that, as well as just a short sleeve onesie or a long sleeve onesie, whatever worked. I wasn't doing like the sets, the just shirt and pants at this stage, because I was still holding him quite a bit, so that stuff would really ride up. So I focused on the onesies, the pull-on pants, and that was it. I made sure that his wardrobe was quite neutral. I had a lot of grays, a lot of navy blues, whites, and beige. But I had a lot of like stripes, some like mustard, some copper colors, some yellows, some greens. So I made sure to like really have some pops of color, but were very muted, and also things that could match with really anything. So that's really how I wanted to focus his wardrobe. Got a lot of things from the consignment shop, which I love. A few things from Target, like outerwear, which I made sure was a neutral color, like hunter green or navy blue or gray or black, things like that. On occasion, if I did need to pick up specific things to match with his wardrobe, and I wasn't seeing them at the consignment shop, I would usually just go to Target and look in their basics sections, like the long sleeve Henleys that I purchased for him for the fall, and also like the short sleeves or the pull-on like shorts were really great. I got a couple of those. I was able to just pick up and supplement through Target basics in the kids section. So in my last video, I talked about the shoes that we purchased for him. These were his first shoes. We didn't get any shoes for him until he was about 7 months. And that's because we went to Disney World and we were going to be standing him up on like the pavement or the sidewalk or like a ledge or something where he could see like fireworks, who knows. But I wanted something to be on his feet other than socks. So, but before then, we didn't buy shoes for him. That's just crazy. Loved those. And then the second pair of shoes that we got were from Target. They are called the Stride Rights. I think the brand is called Surprise, and it was like a sandal, so it was like a little bit open on the sides, and it could breathe. But we had those for the summer, and they were fantastic. One, because they were highly recommended for us for kids with like short and chunky feet, which he had. When you opened them up, the Velcro, they were nice and wide for his feet. So if you have wide feet on your baby, I highly recommend that brand, Stride Right. And the last thing I'll mention with clothes is this little cap right here. This is the third time we've purchased this. This is the 12 to 18 month size, and this fits his head. So it does run a little bit big, but we got this 3 times because we love it so much. It's soft, it's like a cottony soft, and it's just comfortable. The bill is not too long. It's like a perfect size for their head, and the elastic is really comfortable as well. When it didn't fit him, I would literally just bunch this up and pin it with a safety pin until it fit his head. Just a few more categories. The on-the-go category. I won't go into great detail about our Ergo Baby wrap because I mentioned it in past videos how great it is and the value, and we still love it. But at this time we were facing him forward. So before then we were facing him in, and at this time we were moving him to face out so he could see the world. So that was really, really handy when we would go on walks. He would see so much more. It was awesome. 2 more things with the Ergo Baby. We got some teething covers, which I mentioned in my last video, which we still loved. I was able to hook one of his teethers onto it as well, and he could gnaw on it facing forward. It was much easier for him, and if he needed to chew on anything, he could do that, and he was touching it, he was drooling, so it was all good. It kind of protected it, as well as this area. So this area, he was drooling, he was spitting, he was, you know, whatever he was doing, it was able to drip onto the covers, and I could just take them off, throw them in the wash. Great. All done. And then the cover that we got was waterproof and nice and fleece lined and warm. We actually weren't using this around this time that much, except when it would rain a little bit or if it was chilly in the morning when we would go for our walks. But we started to strip that off as it got to the summertime. But great, great, great asset for the Ergo baby, because I was able to use it throughout the winter, even into the 1-year-old stage and even in the 5-month stage. So that's around the time that we needed it the most. And it was such a great handy thing. Our stroller is the Mockingbird stroller. We love this brand. We just love this brand. They make such great products, and you can add on to whatever you need. So in the summer, we got the mosquito net cover. We also got the rain cover. We also got the dish in the front that has like a cup holder and like a snack tray. So that was really useful for us when he started to have snacks. Just such a great stroller, and I cannot say enough. I feel like I say that a lot. I cannot say enough about this stroller. We brought it with us this time. I will say it's not a travel stroller. It is quite bulky, but I wanted to bring my stroller, our stroller, to the place where we were going to be living for 6 months to make me feel extra comfortable, and I do not regret that whatsoever. It has tons of room on the bottom. I don't have a car here, I'm not driving, so I'm able to just walk around the town, do all my shopping, and stick it all underneath. The cab area underneath is super large. I'm able to twist him and turn him facing in or out, which I was doing around that time as well. Just such a handy thing, and I was using that every day for walks. We were using it constantly in the summer, so such a great stroller. I also purchased a cart cover for the Target carts when I was shopping with him, just because he wasn't big enough to where he could take all the metal and plastic around that area in the cart as well. So I wanted to make sure that something was soft and that he would feel comfortable in when we were in the store. He could sit up now, he felt more aware that he could join in with what was happening. So this is a great opportunity to have him in the front with me. However, I still wanted to make it, like I said, really comfortable, and was able to hook on different toys. So this one that I'll link down below was super cute. It fits like a lot of the bigger carts, like the Target one. Just 3 more things in the on the go. So when we would go to restaurants, we didn't want to bring a bunch of stuff for his eating, and cleanup was always such a disaster. So these amazing things have strips of adhesive, and they just basically stick to the table. He would do his thing. We wouldn't have to wipe down any surfaces to make sure they were extra clean. We could just stick this on. He would eat off of this thing, and whenever he was done, we'd strip it off and throw it away. It was amazing, especially when we were traveling. Such a great thing. We don't use it as much anymore. We use a reusable one, a silicone one, which we can wipe off. But those were super handy when we were out and about and we were first starting to eat, because he was very messy. Because he was still having formula, we had one of those to-go containers. I feel like it was from Munchkin, that had 3 compartments. So I measured out for 7 ounces, put them in each compartment, and all I had to do was turn it, open the little thing, and pour it in and shake it up. It was great. Didn't have to fussle with any spoons or scoops or anything like that. Such a great thing to have in the bag. And the last thing was the little hand sanitizer. Can't remember the brand, but they're at Target. They're little foam, they're white and green, and they make little foam. So we would use that before we would eat. We would use that out and about if he would put something in his mouth, because they put everything in their mouth. So it was a great thing to have in the bag, and it made it super fun because it was foamy. It was nice to have. So there you have it, all of my 9 to 12 month baby products that I loved. There were just so many categories, so many things that were going on. He was starting to get really great with his gross motor, and we just needed a lot of different products to get us through that time. Babies need so much, am I right? So I hope that you found this video helpful and useful, and that maybe some of these products you've experienced. Make sure to let me know what you have, what you've purchased, or if there's anything that you have a question about and going into deeper detail, just let me know and I'll make sure to answer that comment. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.